Friends. A word used in the VTubing space maybe a bit too often. I spoke in the previous video about how often it can be used in posts that may be a bit too clickbaity to attempt to garner interaction and followers. Albeit, that's not always the case, of course. However, over time and due to things like this, the word has started to lose the original meaning and be much closer to acquaintance, or in the VTuber sphere, maybe more of a coworker or collaborator. But to avoid my own personal bias, I once again brought in some friends that I met along my own personal VTuber journey. So without further ado, let's hear some of their personal opinions to my questions on the subject. So the first question is, what makes you more apt to become friends with someone? Is it their personality, actions, interests, etc.?
Most of the time I get along with everyone regardless of their personality and actions. Like, I'm very open to talk or listen to whatever they wanna talk. I only need one thing in common with them in order to take in this step to become friends.
This is actually quite a hard one, right? I think the thing that, pulls me towards someone else, particularly if I want to make friends with them, is it's like what they're doing, right? It's have they done something cool? Have I seen someone that does something that's like a similar sort of interest that I have, where I'm like, hey, we could rub some brain cells together and maybe come up with something really cool. I think a lot of that then follows along with like, okay, do you have a personality that I gel with? And are you doing stuff which maybe might rub me the wrong way? I sort of go through those in a checklist, and I'm just like, okay, this person seems like a really cool person I'd like to be friends with. And yeah, I think it's really that. I think it's, do you share interests that I do, and how can we like rub some brain cells together with stuff like that?
What makes you more apt to become friends with someone? Someone approachable, someone who hopefully has the same interests as me, because it just makes it easier to develop a friendship that way if we play the same games and we like to invite each other in the games that we like to play. But I'm also very open to playing new games with new friends, honestly. So I guess just be approachable and don't be an asshole, and we can be besties.
Although having a common interest is good, personality and how they treat other people is very important to me. Generally, I try not to force friendships because, as someone with ADHD, it's always been rather hard to make myself understood. So I'd say the biggest thing for me is being able to hit it off immediately with somebody. I'm not much of a talker, so if someone is able to have a long conversation with me about any sort of topic, I usually take that as a good sign.
Now, the next question. What are some attributes of your current friendships that made you interested in being friends with them?
They are genuine in their own way. Some of them are passionate talking about music, art, their favorite shows, even games. I really enjoy hearing people talk about the things they like.
So a lot of the friends I have right now that I socialize with the most are all very much victims. I say victims. It's all very circumstantial. A lot of the people I met and I still talk to now are people I was talking to when I first started streaming. It was the fact that I kind of clicked with the right people, right? I made friends with the right sort of crowd, and they've stuck with me and they've supported me, and that's been really quite nice for me. So yeah, I think it's it's a combination of that against the previous thing with sort of interests. It's clicking, it's making sure that you've got a right head on your shoulders, you've got someone to ground you.
Again, someone who's very approachable and is very open to collabing, because I'm the type of person who really I'm open to initiating collabs and stuff. So if you're very open to that, and if we get along well in the collab, and we tend to invite more in random even off-stream games and stuff, then that naturally leads to friendships.
A lot of my friends are very patient and understanding of my symptoms. They're very thoughtful towards others and try to include them wherever they can. I really enjoy their company, even if I'm quiet, because just listening to them talk is really fun to me. They're also people who will ask others for advice and share how they're feeling. Their intentions tend to be based on just wanting to enjoy spending time with their friend, or at the very least, if they do need something, it'll be based on mutual terms.
Following that, what are some things that make you put off from becoming friends with someone?
I tend to evade people who do trash talking or get really angry at other people playing in a video game just because they're playing the game the way they don't want to. Of course, they are not a machine and they can react. That's a thing. But if it is every single time, every single day, I mean, I cannot vibe with that person at all.
This is a really tricky one because I feel like there's no answer to this which isn't kind of rude. I think the main thing that like puts me off from wanting to be friends with someone is if they aren't patient. I've sort of found this with some people where I've met new people and they've been very, very, very quick to try and like become my friend right away. And I'm like, I have a pretty busy life, and I think when people are a little bit too eager, and it's not just kind of like maybe you just have a few days, what you do is just like shoot memes to one another. I I think genuinely pushing too fast and trying to make a friendship really doesn't sit well with me too much. I think other things are this is a hard one. I think when people care too much about numbers, I don't really want to be friends with them. I think that stuff is super, super off-putting. It makes me feel like you want to be friends with me because obviously I'm some sort of asset, and not my bag, not my bag.
I have never experienced actually like someone who has an attitude or someone who's pretty much comes off like arrogant or with a weird weird vibe. Honestly, everyone that I've met are pretty outgoing and approachable, and yeah, so I've never been put off just yet from my like 3 to 4 months of since debut. But I guess one thing would be like, I guess, right, if you're disrespectful, I guess, and if you're not very understanding or not very uh apathetic to the other person, if that makes sense. But it hasn't actually happened to me, so I'll let you know if it happens to me.
It's hard to explain, but I think you need to listen to your instincts sometimes when it comes to interacting with people you don't know well already. If the vibes aren't there, don't ignore them. Just step back a little and reevaluate. Even though that person may be friends with a lot of others, it's important to remember that some personalities just don't work well together, and that's okay. Personally, if I feel like we're on two completely different wavelengths whenever I talk to someone, I usually put off becoming friends with them. It's not that I don't want to take the time to fix that, but it doesn't exactly feel right informing a person you barely know about your disability and potentially making them feel like they have to adjust their own personality to accommodate you.
Now, how important do you feel networking in content creation is? And do you feel that it can be a valid tool for finding friendship, or do you see it more as a business tool?
I think networking by itself, it's important. If you want to go serious about this, yeah, it is. Because most of the people that I know to this day were recommended or happened to be in a collab or as a guest with someone that I was watching. It is definitely a business tool, but at the same time, if the two parties involved are in the same page, it can develop into a friendship. It's not 100% guaranteed, but it can happen.
I think this goes both ways. There are some people who, we do not like follow each other, we don't support each other, we pretty much just exist to go like, hey, here's this meme I found, hey, here's this like, hey, do you have like a technical answer for this like piece of, stuff I'm struggling with? I think there's a fine line to be walked between both. You don't have to be friends with absolutely everyone you meet. And I think that's something a lot of people could maybe learn from. It's okay just to talk to some people on the basis that they have some knowledge that you don't, and then leave it at that. You don't have to make everyone your friend. You can talk to people just because they've got some knowledge and you want to share something. That's it. It doesn't have to go any further than that. You don't need to be hanging out on a Discord call every day. You don't need to be talking 24/7 and writing good night posts to one another. Some people you can just talk to, like maybe once every few months, to go, hi, I'm looking to set up this piece of software or this piece of equipment, and you have like knowledge in that. Can you help me? And most of the times they'll go, yeah.
Honestly, like if I ask you to collab with me, it's more of I want to be friends with you, not for business, but for like, me having friends so I can play with you off stream. And I can, we can support each other in this journey of VTubing. So for me, it's definitely important. I guess it is important as a business tool, definitely, because it expands your network, your reach, and like you get to meet more people in the process, and you get to enhance your skills if you meet new people. But I guess for me personally, if I ask you to collab with me, it's more of to be actually friends instead of like as a like, oh, this is just for business, but I won't speak to you off stream. It's more of I want to make friends, and that's just me. Yeah.
I think one of the things that does attract people into becoming VTubers is the ability to network with other VTubers, since it's a lot more prominent than other types of content creation out there. Although there probably are plenty of VTubers out there that are happy not to interact with the VTuber sphere at large, we tend to base a lot of what a VTuber is after what the big agencies do. Part of that is collabing with others and finding others within our various niches, which could also potentially lead to friendships if things go well.
Now, going back to a prior question, what is your opinion on those looking for new friends posts, and why?
I think I'm just incompatible with this post. I just find them artificial and I cannot see myself looking for people that catch my interest in them. I think it doesn't tell you who they really are as a person. Maybe it works for some people, and if that's the case, that's great. But for me, I just don't see the point of it.
They are completely shameless engagement bait. They prey on new streamers who haven't been doing this for too long and think that this is somehow a genuine thing. I have seen very few, if any, friendships actually exist through these posts. They do nothing but benefit the person who has posted them by pushing them more in the algorithm, by tricking people interacting with them. It's really gross. I don't like them at all. I think if you're doing that, you absolutely know what you're doing. You are 100% playing the algorithm. I do not think they are genuine whatsoever.
I like it. I mean, I like that. I know that not a lot of people are very extroverted and like would make the first move to like DM someone to be like, oh hey, you want to collab. So them making like these posts is like a way to kind of make everyone know that hey, you can approach me, you can DM me, it's okay. Like it's opening that door. So I'm all for it. I don't see anything wrong with it, because honestly, like, okay, if I'm to DM someone, if they want to collab, and if I'm not sure if they're open to that, then I will hesitate more compared to if I know that they're looking for new friends and they're looking for, they're looking for people to collab with. So yeah, I guess it helps.
I've always been rather skeptical, not just on the basis that they might be interaction bait. I've always felt as though, especially for anyone that might have anxiety or other issues making friends with people, that those sorts of posts are a bad idea. It's easy for others to mistake what your intentions are off the post, either thinking it's looking for a new best friend, a casual friend to play a game with, a potential business relationship, or someone may even believe that the post is inauthentic and get a bad impression of you. Also, if a post gets successful and a lot of people reply, it may become overwhelming. It's impossible to reply and have conversations with everyone, so people will go unanswered and feel rejected or like they fell for a scam. I think if you're going to make a post looking for friends, you do need to be careful in how you frame it and also be aware of the risks.
With friendships as a whole being a very adaptable concept, these critiques and questions aren't meant to alienate anyone from making these posts or not trying to make lasting friendships in their content creation journey, as it certainly is not an impossible task. If there's one thing that is taken from this video, it's that you should value sincerity. So take some time to reflect on some of these insights, and of course check out all the creators who helped me out.